yogis, and welcome to the final day of our 10-day Yin Yoga Challenge. You made it to the end, hooray! So congratulations, well done, I'm really proud of you. And even if you didn't do all of the poses along the way, I don't know, maybe you ran out of time, or maybe some of the poses just didn't work for your body or didn't resonate with you, that's cool. It's not a competition, we're just in it for a little bit of fun and to try and get just a little bit more yin into our lives. So wherever you are in this process, I'm really proud of you. These videos aren't going anywhere, so if you want to go back and repeat any days or fill in any gaps that you missed, that's cool. You can help yourself at any time. Now, before we get stuck into our final pose, I have just a couple of things to mention. The first one is make sure you stay all the way to the very end of today's video. So stay till the end of the pose and end of the rebound, and then after that, I have a really special offer for you, and it's a time-limited offer and I don't want you to miss out on it. So make sure you stay all the way to the end of today's video. The second thing to mention is that yes, we have reached the end of our 10-day challenge, but I'm not going to leave you hanging. There is a very special bonus coming your way tomorrow. I have made a full-length class featuring all of the poses that we did in this challenge, one after the other. Now don't worry, we're not going to be holding all of those poses for like 10 minutes, like the longer periods of time like we have during the challenge. Each of them will just be 3 minutes long, just to give you an idea of what it feels like to weave those poses together. So that will be coming your way tomorrow. Like I say, these videos will be available to you forever, so you can come back to them whenever you like, and make sure you stay until the end of today's video to take advantage of the special offer. There's only one thing left to do now, and that's get stuck into the final pose of our challenge. I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. I'm pretty sure you're going to really enjoy being in it for 10 minutes. It's open heart pose. So this pose, we're going to definitely need something like a yoga block. So a pile of books or a cushion. Now I always like to start with it quite high, and we might lower it down later on. So if you just have a couple of books, maybe go and grab a few more now so you can start with a higher pile. And then we're using something like a yoga bolster across the mat like this. Now if you don't have a bolster, that's okay. You can use some rolled up blankets or towels. Now this is 2 blankets rolled up, and you can see that it's not quite as high as a bolster. So you need to have a bit of a play around with the height, depending on what props you have and the right size for you. So what we do is we have our block at the back of the mat and the bolster across the mat, definitely a bit of a gap in between those two, and then we sit in front of that bolster. There will be a little bit of a gap between you and the bolster, and the size of that gap depends on the height of your bolster and the length of your torso. So it's open heart pose. We want to open up through the heart space, and to do that we lie back over the bolster at about shoulder blade height, so just at the back of the heart. Take it nice and slow, and you know you're kind of in the right place if you feel like you're getting an opening in the heart space, and if your forearms, when you bring your arms out to the side, comfortably rest down on the floor. If they're still awkwardly hanging off the bolster, then you probably need to adjust the bolster a little bit closer to you. And then we very carefully let the head come back. So I've raised the height of my prop for my head just while we begin. Now for the legs, there's 3 options for your legs. We start with the knees bent and the soles of the feet on the floor. And you can stay like this if you like. Another option is to straighten the legs out like this, but of course if that causes any discomfort in your back, then just keep the knees bent. Third option is to bring the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. And the advantage of this is that it gives you a little bit of a bonus stretch in the inner thighs. If it causes any pain in the hips, the groin, the thighs or the knees though, give this one a miss and just bring the soles of the feet back to the floor. And another option is to have the feet wide and resting the knees in towards one another. So you find the place that feels just right for you today, remembering that our primary intention is to open up through the heart space, so chest, maybe down into the belly, front of the shoulders, maybe the throat, depending on the height of your head. So we're always really careful with the neck. If there's any pain or crunching in the back of the neck, you come up higher. If it feels okay, and if you feel like you want to experiment, you might start to come down a little bit lower. So usually I start really high, and then after a minute or so, I feel comfortable enough to experiment, to play around with coming down a little bit lower. Not because that's our goal, it doesn't prove that we're better at yoga or anything like that, but just to get a little bit more of an opening in the front of the throat. And once you're settled, I'd really like you to relax into this, so softening down, letting the weight of your body sink down. So especially feeling into the props underneath you. Can you let your head be really heavy on your block or your cushion? Can you let the bolster or the rolled up blankets take your weight, so really supporting you, really feeling that beautiful opening in the chest? Relaxing the hands and the fingers. Soften the arms all the way up to the shoulders. And as you start to melt, you might notice little movements as different muscle groups start to let go, and as you start to create space. If you've been practicing with me for a while, you know that talking about the breath and working with the breath is one of my favourite things, and it's why I love this pose so much, because it has such a deep impact on the breath. So most of the time in our day-to-day lives, we're in the opposite shape to this. We're quite hunched. That might be because of our jobs, sitting at a desk or something. It might be because of postural issues, injuries, aches and pains. And sometimes there's an emotional factor as well. If you've been hurt, perhaps if you're grieving, or there's some kind of fear, often we round the back and protect the heart and the belly and the throat. So it's really nice to open up those spaces, and it helps to open up room for the lungs to move, to breathe out a little bit more, to breathe in a little bit more. Because of course, even though it feels like it when we breathe, we're not breathing in a new lungful of air each time and breathing out that same air. We only breathe out partly. We only breathe in partly. But the more we can breathe out, the more we can breathe in. So the more we can breathe out stale air, carbon dioxide, the more we can breathe in oxygen. In yoga, we call it prana. It doesn't just mean oxygen, it means life force. So everything that gives us life, we can breathe in a little bit more of it, so that we have more energy, more vitality, more health. We feel more vibrant and alive. So we have just about 4 minutes to go in this pose. That means we've been here for 6 minutes already. It's a really long time. So if you've had enough, come out really, really slowly and make your way into rebound. If it's getting a little bit much, so for me, just in my right hip there, it's getting a little bit too strong, so I'm going to bring my knees to touch and my feet wide. You may want to raise or lower your head. Change the position of your legs, however feels right. Remembering that we want to be moving towards feelings and sensations that we know are good for us, and moving away from feelings and sensations that maybe don't feel so good. So small, pinchy, sharp joint pain we want to avoid, so we adjust. But big, spacious, juicy sensations, that's what we're going for, especially in this pose. Relaxing the jaw and the muscles of the face. Skin around the eyes and the front of the throat. So that was 10 minutes in open heart pose, our longest pose yet. So I want you to be really careful coming out. The first thing that we're going to do is make sure the knees are bent, soles of the feet on the floor, knees pointing up. Really important to bring your hands to the back of your head and lift your head carefully up. And you might roll over to the side a little and carefully moving the props. We're coming to make our way into the final rebound of this challenge. Letting everything settle and soften. Noticing what it feels like to be lying flat on the floor. Noticing how it feels in the primary target area, the heart space, the chest. Noticing any impact on your breath, on your mind, on your emotions, on your energy. Let's take one nice big breath in and a big sigh out. Whenever you feel ready, slowly starting to move the body and bend the knees, bring them in towards the chest and wrap your hands around your knees. Give yourself a nice big hug, and I'd like you to send yourself lots and lots of love and kindness and most of all gratitude. So saying thank you to yourself for joining in on this challenge, for taking just a little bit of time out of each day to focus on yourself. And when you're ready, rolling over to one side and lifting yourself up. And thank you so much once again for joining me on this 10-day challenge. I've really had lots of fun and I hope you have too. Like I said, I'm not going to leave you hanging, so tomorrow you will find a full-length practice featuring all of the poses that we've done in the challenge. So look out for that tomorrow, and just stay for an extra couple of minutes to find out a little bit more about my very special offer just for you. Thanks so much for joining me in this 10-day yin yoga challenge. I know I've had lots of fun and I really hope you have too. Aside from the fact that I just love teaching yin, the original idea was to help those of you who found it challenging in these times to squeeze in a full-length class. Lots of you told me that you really wanted to do live stream yoga with me from home, but you just couldn't make it happen. Some of you are in other countries and the times just didn't work. Others are flat out managing kids and partners, working from home. And a ton of you were finding that you were having Zoom meeting clashes. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to keep up with the yin without adding any extra time pressures to your day. And I wanted to show you how just 10 minutes a day is enough really to make a difference to how you feel. You don't necessarily need to find the time to do a full hour or more. Now, I knew this idea would resonate with a few of you, but I never imagined how wildly popular it would become. We've had people joining us from all over the world. Lots of my Avalon regulars, of course, and some from elsewhere in Sydney, a lot of whom back before the virus couldn't make it up to a class here regularly. But we've also had people joining us from the US, the UK, and even South America. Overwhelmingly, the feedback has been that you've really enjoyed doing yoga at home way more than you ever expected to, and that the short practices are really working for you. It's been so popular that you have actually inspired me to create something even better. So here's my idea. I'm going to create an online yin membership just for you, featuring an ever-expanding library of yin practices. Most of them will be short and sweet because I know that's what works for you, but there'll be plenty of longer classes in there too, 30 and 60-minute practices. And you will have unlimited access to all these videos and classes on demand for a small monthly fee. Now, I have quite a few videos waiting for you already, but it's still a work in progress. However, my vision is that there'll be a variety of regular classes suitable for newbies and experienced yinsters alike. as well as a Yin Academy where you can really start to deepen your knowledge of the practice. I'd also like to include short courses to focus on specific things like tight hamstrings or low back pain. Like I say, right now it's evolving, but I think with your help it could be really amazing. So I would like to invite you to join me as a founding member. Now, what do I mean by that? Two things. Number one, I would like to give you the best price possible and keep you in at that price for life. So when I launch this to the general public later on at a higher price, your price will be forever locked in. Why? Because I want to say thank you to you for inspiring me to create this. Number two, I want you to be involved in this process. Remember, it doesn't even exist yet. So I want to get your ideas and input and suggestions and feedback so that together we can shape this into what you want it to be. So I would love for you to come and join me in this exciting new endeavor as a founding member. You will get unlimited on-demand access to all my Yin videos and tutorials. And you will be able to help shape the program so it gives you precisely what you need. And you won't be locked in. You can cancel at any time. But of course, if you come back later, the price will have gone up. So right now, I'm just gauging interest. So if you're interested in joining me as a founding member at the founding member's price, I need you to send me an email. My email address is on the screen right now. Just flick me a quick one saying something like Yin membership, I'm in. You won't be committed. I'm just seeing if I get enough interest. And if I do, then I'll send out more details. Make sure you email me quickly though. The founding member price is only available to the first 20 people who reach out to me. Once those 20 founding memberships have gone, I will know that I have enough interest to do this seriously and the price will go up. Okay, so that's us done. 10 days of delicious Yin, finishing with a 10-minute pose. Once again, well done. And don't forget, coming your way tomorrow is a special free bonus, a full-length class with all of the poses that we did over the 10 days. Don't worry, we're not doing long holds for all of them. Each pose will be just 3 minutes so that we can fit them all into one practice. Okay, let's leave it there, and don't forget, send me an email right now, even if you're just vaguely interested in becoming a founding member in my online Yin program. Thanks very much, guys.